In our first story, President Akufo-Addo is demanding strict application of the law from newly sworn-in justices of the Supreme Court of Ghana. The four, private legal practitioner Nene Amegache, former dean of the Faculty of Law at the University of Ghana, Professor Emmanuel Ni Ashikote, as well as Justice Samuel Mafu Siao and Agnes Doji, were selected after going through screening and vetting exercise. Inducting them into office, President Akufo-Addo charged them to exhibit independence of mind without fear of favor in the discharge of their duties.
The situation where judges prefer judgments on the basis of decisions from lower courts and cite them as law is not acceptable, and even less so when judges cite no authority at all for their rulings and give orders without reasons. Judges, more so justices of the Supreme Court, must be learned, know their case law, and ensure their decisions and judgments are properly motivated. Even though the Supreme Court is the court of last resort in normal litigations, it has also an exceptional jurisdiction. That is its original constitutional jurisdiction. The Constitutional Court, which many countries have, is not part of our judicial structure, as the Supreme Court performs that function in the Ghanaian situation. I have continued this tradition as President of the Republic, and today, the immediate past President of the Ghana Bar Association, a distinguished practitioner, Nene Amagachi, and the former Dean of the Faculty of Law, University of Ghana, Professor Emmanuel Ni Ashikote, have been appointed from the bar directly onto the Supreme Court, together with two respected judges of the Court of Appeal. This blend of persons on the Supreme Court, in my view, will strengthen the development of our nation's constitutional and other jurisprudence. To our new Supreme Court judges, it is extremely important that you ensure the strict application of the laws of the land, in the words of the judicial oath which you've just taken, without fear or favor, affection or ill will, and therefore without recourse to the political, religious, or ethnic affiliations of any citizen of the land.
The president was, however, unhappy with the handling of what he calls serious cases by the court, especially rulings on cases involving persons caught in illegal mining. He wants judges to consider the concept of deterrence in the passage of sentences.
When anyone falls foul of the law, the society expects that the person will be dealt with accordingly, and the law enforcement agencies must ensure that this is done. This is the true meaning of the concept of equality before the law. The judiciary plays a central role in law enforcement. Much as I must be the first to recognize the dictates of due process and the protection of human rights, for me, and I believe for many, it continues to be a source of worry that persons, for instance, caught in the act of destroying our environment and polluting our water bodies, the very inheritance of our future generations, because of the phenomenon of illegal mining, popularly referred to as galamsey, get away with lenient sentences. The media landscape is replete with accounts of persons who steal goats, for example, receiving sentences of not less than 2 years in prison. Yes, the sentences are meted out in accordance with the Criminal Offences Act, but I believe invariably there's discretion for the judge within a certain band. I suggest that in certain cases, the discretion must be exercised for the upper end of the band, i.e. for the maximum.
Meanwhile, President Akufo-Addo has revealed the rationalization of the banking sector undertaken by his government saved the deposit of over 1,147,000 Ghanaians and spared the country and the banking crisis. Well, speaking at the inauguration ceremony of the new Standard Chartered Bank head office on Wednesday, the president said the move has cost the state some 12.7 billion cedis.
The banks, caught up in these malpractices, became insolvent and relied on liquidity support from the Bank of Ghana. What this meant was that without injection of liquidity from the Bank of Ghana, they were bound to fail and collapse, with depositors losing their entire savings and all their workers losing their jobs. A responsible government and responsible regulator, the Bank of Ghana, had to intervene to ensure that we did not have a banking crisis. And that is exactly what happened. 12.7 billion Ghana cedis of public funds, made up of an 8 billion CD bond issued by the Ministry of Finance, and 4.7 billion CDs of liquidity support from the Bank of Ghana, was injected into the 7 banks that failed. GCB Bank took over the affairs of Capital Bank and UT Bank, and a new state-owned bank, the Ghana Consolidated Bank, was created out of the 5 other failed banks, i.e. Sovereign Bank, Unibank, Construction Bank, Royal Bank, and Beige Bank. These measures saved not only the deposits of 1,147,336 Ghanaians and their businesses and the people they employ, but also minimized job losses in the banking sector. The rationalization and cleanup of the financial sector were necessary to safeguard the health and strength of the economy. I've said it before, and let me reiterate, that those responsible for the sequence of activities that led to the crisis in quote will face the full brunt of the law if they are found to have broken the law and suffer all the consequences prescribed by law.
Now, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asomachreme, has warned staff of the Minerals Commission that they must desist from illegally issuing licenses to prospective miners. This, the minister said, is impeding the fight against illegal small-scale mining in the country. Now, he also said that the ban on small-scale mining will be lifted, hopefully, by the end of this year. The minister said, although the fight against illegal mining has not been fully achieved, the Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining is doing its best to curb the menace.
I'm very content with their presence. But before I came here, there were a series of allegations which I'm yet to see whether indeed they are true or otherwise. This allegation of they take money before the processes are made and all that. And it is based upon that I was so fortified by advising them that they take very good care of themselves and the job. We do this job in the interest of Ghana, so there is no need for us to do that. If anybody has that character or has that conduct in mind, the person will have to need that in the bud. I've been at post for nearly 5 weeks, but such issues have not been brought to my table. But they are sheer allegations for now that I have heard of.
The issue about the Inter-Ministerial Committee fighting illegal mining in this country, a lot of people say they are losing the fight against people mining illegally in this country. What do you say about that?
Oh, they've not lost focus. They've not lost that fight at all. You see, we are human beings. The accounts will say that for every house they have Mensa. And recently my tour of the part of the central region and western region, before I moved from Goso to Bibiani, I saw people doing illegal mining by the roadside. That is why we have laws. So those who are in charge by doing the inspection, if such people are arrested, the law would deal with them. If nobody is to be arrested at all, then there wouldn't have been laws in the system, and we would have lived in a very chaotic manner. So the laws are there to assist the law enforcement agencies to execute their job as required. I wouldn't say that we have attained 100%, because today when you look at River Ankobra, when you look at Bremu, when you look at Pra, the color is not the natural color, which means that some people are hiding somewhere and they are washing mercury, cyanide into the rivers. So though we have not lost that fight, we have not successfully achieved what we are supposed to achieve.
Let's turn our attention to some education. And Anis Hafa is a known education right here in Ghana. He's calling for a paradigm shift in the way Ghana educates its young people, asserting that the current system is outmoded. He's proposing a new system where students will be empowered with digital tools that would help them explore and also enhance their learning. He also wants the recruitment of a new crop of highly skilled and intelligent teachers to take over from the current crop, as happened in Finland, where it is the best brains who end up in the classroom. Anis Hafa was speaking to JoyNews on the sidelines of the 15th anniversary celebrations of the Tema International School.
That every subject under the sun in the syllabus is complementary. On the internet, you can find all kinds of information about it. The internet has more information than all of our teachers in Africa put together. But then we have to understand that we have to raise the teacher themselves not to be afraid of using the digital tools. That's very important. The last point I'll make is this: like when I was in secondary school, I went to school in Cape Coast in France, which is a good school. I spent 4 years trying to learn French. I couldn't speak it because of the way it was taught. But these days, you can go on YouTube, you can begin to listen and use audio visuals. We have software packages where instead of 4 years, you can speak the language in 6 months. What does that tell you? So what I'm saying is this: we have to raise a crop of teachers who are computer savvy, who are not afraid of it, who want to really update their own status so that we can help the children in this country.
Right, let's talk about the Love FM high school debate where Prempeh College was stunned by the Armed Forces Senior High Technical School in the last contest of round one. Now, the 4-time National Maths and Science Quiz, as well as Northern Sector Inter-School Debate champions, succumbed to 2 dazzling females in a close contest. Love FM's Kwesi Deborah has more in this report.
The motion was, ban on galamsey must be lifted. The males spoke for, whilst the females were against it.
You're sitting here nicely dressed, your parents are financing your education. That is very nice. But you think about those in the very remote areas like Tabosom, Kumpesi. You think about them. We should even be proud that these people wouldn't want to resort to the use of the gun as a means of earning income. But we want to indulge in galamsey. Why? Because with galamsey, all you do is to gather and sell, and you make money. 3, galamsey helps in the provision of social amenities. Most of our rural areas are beset with problems of poor living conditions. However, with galamsey, these things are gradually turning for the better.
First of all, the Chair, let us consider the effects of galamsey on agriculture. To begin with, the Chair, lifting the ban on galamsey would mean the country eventually losing arable lands to galamsey activities. The Chair, which will mean the country losing close to $2 billion in foreign exchange activities to galamsey. My worthy opponents, is that what you stand to defend? Ghana prides itself as an agrarian country, and thus the contribution of agriculture to the GDP cannot be underestimated. If the lands for farming and the water bodies for irrigation are destroyed with impunity, the country will in no time lose all of its lands. Then what will be the stand of the country?
Over 2,000 road accidents were recorded just January and February of this year. Out of these 2,000 road accidents recorded, 336 deaths were realized. Will you attribute this to galamsey? Of course not.
Lifting the ban on galamsey is equivalent to promoting crime with impunity. My worthy opponents, the government is not an enemy of Ghana. The government is an enemy of the operators of illegal mining. Ghana is not a failed state, and I repeat, Ghana is not a failed state, and therefore will not sit and watch these greedy people who only are interested in what they get from our resources
In the end, Armed Forces went home with 244 points against 239 for Prempeh College. In the next round of the contest, Yasantua will face Opokuari School, St. Louis versus Tia Ahmadiyya, Ken Westie versus Tepasidia High, and St. Monica's versus Armed Forces. For Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Wow, what fun they had in Kumasi.
Yeah.
Indeed, looks like a good time.
I love the way you read that script, especially when you got to the point, you know, you said dazzling females. I wanted to draw your attention. These are teenagers.
Please don't be influenced by a Kosam. Those are dazzling intellects I was describing.
Okay.
They are a little too young to be described in any other way.
Yes,
let's make that clear.
Fetch him, brother.
But boy, oh boy, we've got a big show coming up.
Yeah, we do.
We'll start off.
We're going up the balloon.
Yes, indeed. Cowbell. Yes, I can't wait to see how Naya Brefo coops with Acrobato in a basket. Oh boy, it's going to be brilliant.
Well, all that next. Stay on.